Morning guys, Dave Cadbury at the Pathfinder School. I wanted to have a quick discussion today about packing your gear. Lots of videos on the internet about this gear or that gear to carry, this EDC or that EC, 10-piece kit, what do I carry into the woods, but there's very few videos on how do I carry it into the woods, okay? And I think that that's pretty important. And a lot of you guys know that I'm pretty fond of 5-gallon buckets, trash cans, things of that nature. And you know, the 5-gallon bucket, the trash can, very reminiscent of the pack basket. Pack baskets have been used for a couple of hundred years. Burden baskets were used by Native Americans long before, you know, European contact, and long before Europeans decided to turn them into what's considered the Adirondack pack basket of the late 19th century, early 20th century. This is an antique pack basket. It was given to me by a friend, and it's very reminiscent of the old trapper's trap basket. Put your traps in, carry it on your back. And the good thing about a system like this is it gives you a large bucket, which again, I've always been very fond of bucket type packs where you can just put everything into one container, and it's not hard to find that way. You can modularize it in pouches and things like that if you want to, but it makes it easier to find your gear. So pack baskets like this have been very popular, especially in the upper New England states since, you know, the 19th century. The other option that you have that we've talked about a lot of times is the Alice pack frame. Alice pack frames can be modularized. I've got videos on that on the web. You can attach packs to them directly, or you can attach a 5-gallon bucket to this with bungee cords or whatever the case may be. If you put the radio shelf on the bottom of this thing, it becomes a little more conducive to being a external frame pack basket type situation. You could strap a trash can to this as well. The only thing that I'm not real fond of with the Alice pack frame is the size. The size of this frame is not very conducive to doing or packing your things in fashions where you have more stuff than just one small item. You can put one 5-gallon bucket on this. That's about all you're going to get on here. Now, companies like Cabela's, Bass Pro Shops, things like that, have larger pack frames, external frames that are made for carrying game and things like that. And those Alaskan type frames are very much conducive to turning into very good pack accoutrements, because you can either strap containers to them, put your pack on them, then take your pack off and carry other things. And that's the big advantage to an external frame pack like this, like the Alice pack frame is, that you now have something you can strap a 5-gallon bucket to, a 5-gallon water can to, strap firewood to, strap game to, a carcass, things like that that you're carrying out of the woods, or carrying around firewood back to camp, things like that can all be used by using this frame without the pack on it. Now, what I want to show you today is I want to show you a little bit different modular design, and I experiment and test a lot of things. This pack frame is not what I would call common man. That's not to say that you couldn't make a frame like this from common man materials, but this frame was sent to me by a company called Bull Pack, and Bull Pack being named after the fact that it was made for carrying bull elk out of the woods, okay? And it's basically just a frame. They do have a pack that goes with it. It's made in Idaho. I want to show you that right now. It's on my back, and I want to show you how I've modularized this system to work in the woods. So basically what you have here is you have a large pack frame that's made out of a heavy tubular material, almost like an aircraft aluminum, that has a complete harness system built into it for a very nice padded waist strap, heavy duty padded shoulder pads, and it's just a heavy duty bulletproof frame that's got tie-off points on the sides in 3 different places. It has a built-in shelf on the bottom of it. And the thing I like about this frame, not necessarily the price, but what I like about this frame itself is that it's long enough that you can actually put something on the bottom on the shelf and then put a full-size garbage can on top of it, and you still have room above it, above where the frame is. So what I've done with this one is very simple. I've taken a dry bag. This would happen to be a Pathfinder dry bag. Could have been Sea Line, anything like that. And I have put my sleeping bag, my black Arctic bag from the MMS system, and my Gore-Tex bivy into a dry bag, put it on the bottom shelf, put the garbage can on top of that, just strapped it with a couple strap ties to the top of the shelf where there's a couple of indentions for an Alice pack. And then I have strapped it on there with just cheapo bungee cords like you'd use on a truck. And then one bungee cord on the bottom to hold this in place. I can take these off in a matter of seconds, take this whole thing off. I have another container here. I do have a hole drilled in the bottom of this for drainage, but I can plug that with a rubber plug that you can buy at any hardware store. So I have a container that is waterproof for collecting water if needs be, or I can pull that plug like I have it now so that it will drain water in inclement weather. And then the only thing I've done is I've taken 2 more dry bags and put them inside. One dry bag has my sheltering kit. The other dry bag has basically my 10Cs in it, minus my cutting tool knife. It has a spare cutting tool, a multi-tool, and a Baco Laplander saw. I'm not going to go through the exact components of this kit right now because that's not what this video is about. It's about the carrying of your kit. And then in the bottom, I just have one of those military-style butt packs. So when I'm at camp, I can throw whatever I need to in this butt pack, throw it over my shoulder, as you see me doing other videos, or around my waist, and head off on a short scout. And I can leave this frame back at camp, or I can take all of this stuff off this frame with 2 straps and a small bungee. Can take this stuff off of this frame, and I can use the frame for carrying other things like firewood or what have you. And I have the bucket as well, so I have another container. So really what I've done here is I've got dry bag container, trash can container, 2 dry bag container. I've added to the fact that I have lots of containers with me to hold water or hold things in a waterproof nature. Plus I've set this up on a pack frame so that now I have that, the best of all worlds. I have an external frame that is multifunctional. I have a pack basket that's made out of ABS plastic. This is a Rubbermaid, so it's not going to get destroyed very easy. And I have it modularized so that I can pull the shelter system out or my emergency gear out just with one draw. Boom, I'm done. This is my kit, okay? This is my shelter. And my sleep system is on the bottom. It's very modularized, very compact, but very conducive to stuffing a lot of other things in if I need to. If I want to use this to go out and collect firewood, sticks, and whatnot, all I got to do is take these 2 things out, leave them at camp, and go. Fill this thing up with tinder and kindling, go back to camp and get ready to start my fire. So this is a very, very good system. Now, the bull pack frame, very uncommon, man. The thing's like $200 bucks. It's like 175 or 185 bucks. But with that, I've talked to the company owner, and she tells me that she's never had one of these things returned and that they're used all over the world. So maybe it's worth the 200 bucks. A lot of people pay 200 bucks just for a pack. So if I can get something like this for 200 bucks and add a trash can to it that costs me $5 or $6 and a couple bungee cords, I'm pretty happy with that. Because if I'm willing to pay 200 bucks for a pack, I'm willing to pay 200 bucks for something that is equal to or better than a pack by easily modifying it or attaching my pack to it. Like I said, this one is made for an Alice pack. So you could put a medium Alice pack on this frame and again have the best of both worlds. If you put your trash can in your Alice pack, like we've done in other videos, then you have, you know, it's basically the triple threat at that point. You got the trifecta. You've got a pack on the outside, you've got a hard plastic ABS on the inside, and you have an external pack frame. Now you're going to run into about the $250 range once you get done with that. But to pay 250 bucks for a bulletproof, bomb-proof pack system, that's cheap money in this day and age. It really is. So I wanted to kind of show you guys this system today because it's something I've been working with and I've been walking around and using a little bit. You can see this is kind of beat up, but this system is going to work out fine for a longer term situation. This is not your one day, you know, emergency kit right here. This is, I've got the stuff in here I need to go out there and stay other than my firearm, you know, and a few traps. And I've got plenty of room in this pack basket to throw a few conibears or body grip traps in the bottom of this thing and a snare kit, what have you. Slide a fishing kit down in there, a sling bow, whatever the case may be. Carry my rifle, my sidearm, my haversack, and I'm ready to rock and roll. Again, I could switch this out for a wool blanket. You know, warmer weather, when it's not going to be below 0 outside, I'd probably put a wool blanket in here. It would take up the same amount of room as this MMS system. I never used a green bag with my MMS. I never have. I always used a black bag and the bivvy and nothing else. I've slept in that in -9, -10 degree weather with just a pad on the ground, and I've never been cold. So the green bag is just more that I don't really need unless I'm going to be in real subarctic conditions. I only carry the black and the bivvy. They're both in here right now along with a pillowcase. Nesmic always said he carried a pillowcase. You know, you can stuff your clothes in it at night, whatever the case may be, to make yourself a pillow, but a pillow is a must, so just carry the pillowcase. Again, you've got a cloth sack at that point. You can carry other things in. So I wanted to go over this with you today and talk a little bit about pack systems, because that's one of the overlooked things I believe in videos nowadays. Everybody talks about what they carry, but they don't really talk too much about how they carry it. So I wanted to kind of go over this with you. If I had, you know, the option of a sled, four-wheeler, horse, whatever the case may be, then I might not have to worry about this so much, but I'd probably throw this in the bottom of a sled anyway, or in the back of a four-wheeler, just to have the convenience that this offers. But I might not have to carry it on my back at that point. It's not very heavy. This entire kit, probably, if I had to guess, I'd say weighs right at 30 pounds or less for sure. And that's, like I said, everything in there that I would need for a week or more, no problem, except the firearm and the ammunition. All right, guys, well, I'm Dave Canterbury at the Pathfinder School. I appreciate you joining for this short video on, you know, what to carry your kit in, or how I am experimenting with carrying kit. I appreciate your views, I appreciate your support, I appreciate your comments and everything that you do for me, for my school, for my family, for my instructors, all the way down the line. We at the Pathfinder School, thank you for everything. I'll be back with another video as soon as I can, guys.